Right, so Mildred is a maybe 11-year-old who's kind of wise beyond her years. She's very precocious and kind of in control. She loves reading, but she's not got a lot of friends. She's a bit socially kind of awkward. But her kind of big goal in life is to find the Canterbury panther, which is it's like New Zealand's version of Bigfoot, and win like a big cash prize. She's supposed to go camping with her mum, but then her mum gets hurt and needs time in the hospital, and so her washed-up magician dad comes and takes her camping. I think Mildred and I are alike in some ways. We both love reading, both quite mature. She's had quite a hard life, which is something I've been lucky enough not to experience. And so I worked with my amazing acting coach on the film, Claire Chittum, and she really helped me to kind of get into that role and that character. I learned about, instead of thinking as the scene as a scene, to kind of think about the events that led up to this scene. No character says something for the sake of saying something, right? They've always got a meaning, and so what Claire and I did is, with every line, we wrote down next to it what the intent was. Why is she saying this line? And I think that really helped me with my performance. We met a couple days before we started filming, but we hit it off instantly. We created such a good rapport. He's such a joy to work with. I learned a lot from him, but because Strawn and Mildred have quite a tricky dynamic, I think it's important to be able to have such a good relationship with your co-stars that you can, on screen, be a bit rude and be a bit snarky to them. But no, we had a lot of fun filming. I got sent the script and offered the part, and I started reading it, and I kind of just, I fell in love with the writing and the way it worked, because it blends a kind of fun adventure comedy, but with some quite tricky aspects. Mildred and Strawn are both characters who are kind of sorting through their stuff and have had quite a tricky life and are trying to figure out who they are, but they kind of unite in this quest for this mythical panther, and I really love that about it. I love the film Little Miss Sunshine because it's it was a little indie film, but it's so genuine and so authentic and so full of heart, which is kind of something I really look for in a script, and yeah, it's just really heartwarming.
Well, it's a big thing in New Zealand. It's been around for a long, long time. There's been rumors about how it possibly exists. There's accounts of maybe large animals, large cats escaping from a ship that were roaming around for years and years and interbreeding. So there's large feral cats that exist down in that area. They do culls every year to keep the numbers down because they're killing native birds like crazy. But they've found paw prints and massive. They've shot a couple of these huge cats, massive, that are nearly as large as panthers, they're big. So it's not that far to extrapolate, maybe there is a panther or was a panther originally, and it's been bred down the line. The DNA has sort of filtered through crossbreeding. So yeah, it's not like Bigfoot, well, it could be. I was a Bigfoot believer when I was a kid in the 70s. So it's an homage to those sort of films as well. Like when everything felt like unknown, and the Bermuda Triangle was a very real thing for us growing up. So it was like technology has ruined everything. Like now, there'd be GPS tags on every freaking animal. But back for us, I wanted to capture a bit of that magic of being a kid where everything was kind of like wonderment and the allure of the unknown. And so the panther exists for a lot of people down there. We met people who have seen them or seen it, and they had very vivid accounts, and it was just great to be able to play that up and make it a character within the film. Well, both of the scripts, to be honest, were written for him, and he thankfully accepted them. So he's the character that the writer, Toby, and I, we hang all our baggage on him. He's a vessel or an avatar for us to hang our male insecurities, not stepping up as dads under duress. So we've got a very weird symbiotic relationship with Elijah as the actor, that we use him as a vessel to tell funny stories. And so it naturally all fit together. We had a ball making it. It was very easy. A lot of the same creative team worked on Come to Daddy, worked on this one. We didn't really want to make a traditional kids movie. We wanted a film that was like more general entertainment, like a family film from the 70s that didn't pander to kids. The main challenge for me is making a good film. And then also shooting in the wilderness is, in my naive way, I thought, like, oh, that's going to be easy. A couple of characters, just a small crew, let's go out and shoot this thing. It was way more complex. We were at the mercy of the weather gods the whole time. So it was a scary shoot mainly for the producers. The logistics behind it was run like a military operation. But all I was focusing on was these guys, the characters, the actors, front and center. And it all hinged on them and their relationship, whether it was going to work or not. And they just blew it out of the water. So happy.
I play a character named Strawn Wise, who is an illusionist. We come to understand probably had some previous success many years prior to the events of the film, that he's maybe not quite as successful now. And he comes to New Zealand to be there for his daughter, who he's estranged from, because his daughter's mother has fallen into a coma. So he arrives with this sort of, pomp and circumstance of like, I'm your dad, I'm the hero that's going to rescue you. And she cuts right through it, sees through his bullshit, and thrusts him out into the wilderness in the search of this sort of mythical panther. And so the movie is about, this father and a daughter on this journey together. And this father, this guy, desperately trying to hold on to his sense of identity as a magician, as an illusionist. It's all he has, because he hasn't really developed himself beyond that. And this journey is the very thing he needs to sort of strip all those things away and realize that he's kind of a failure, but maybe he can be there for his daughter. And that's kind of the journey that they go on.
There is quite an interesting parallel with Come to Daddy.
Yeah.
Because Come to Daddy, you're the son coming to his dad.
Yes. And now I'm the dad.
Yeah, so what's that all about you?
Well, they're both stories about fathers, from different perspectives. Come to Daddy is about a son desperately trying to, didn't have a relationship with his father, goes to meet his father, and turns out the person that he's been talking to is not his father, and it's this whole sort of wild sort of genre exercise that they go through. And this one, it's about a father coming into a scenario also like a fish out of water, not dissimilar from Norval in the first one, sort of being tested by the scenario that he's in. So yeah, it's got similarities, but it's different. It's another father story, but from a slightly different angle. Yeah, I worked with a magician in Los Angeles for about a month, just to work on kind of card dexterity, just so that it looked like I knew what I was doing. There aren't really tricks to have to learn in the film that we did, but there's a few bits with cards. So I just want to make sure I did that well. And then, a lot of the character was just built in his costume, kind of the way he looked. That provided a lot of the vibe of the character, his hair, the outfit, his hat. those kinds of things and modulating that was really part of the discovering of him as well. And then so much of the dialogue and the way it's written provided an incredible blueprint there as well. I mean, the main challenge, I don't know, the shooting was glorious. I mean, look, we were outside, so we were in the elements all the time. But it was a really good time of year. It wasn't too cold. The weather was on our side, so that was not too miserable. We were blessed with good weather, so it was always pretty easy. I mean, the biggest challenge for me as an actor, I think, was just kind of like going into it, selling the magician aspects of it, handling cards properly, making sure that it looked like I knew what I was doing. So that was top of my mind. Aside from that, you know, being out in the wilderness was a joy. It was super fun. So many. I'm a big genre film fan. Yeah, I don't know. It's almost too broad a question. I could say so many things. Weirdly, the first thing that came to mind was this great movie called The Vanishing from the 1980s, about a serial killer, and it's a foreign language film. It's a French and Dutch film. It's really wonderful. One of my favorites. But I love these festivals. It's my first time to Fantasia, but I go to Fantastic Fest in Austin. I've been there nearly every year for years. Been to Sitges in Spain. All around these kinds of movies. Some of my favorite films are in this space. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that's something specific that I can quantify, but you know, I was 18 when I went to New Zealand to start working on Rings. I was 22 when we were finished. Huge growing period for me as a human being, certainly as an actor as well, in terms of the responsibility of that character and the length of time, the duration of it, the sort of endurance of it. So I don't know. I don't know if there was like anything specific that I brought to this, but the connection to New Zealand, the working and loving working with New Zealand crews. The crews in New Zealand are really great. They're very dedicated. They kind of wear multiple hats, aren't afraid to sort of do whatever it takes to get the job done. And I really love that. So it was lovely to be back in that universe again.
Thank you so much.